No, we got any grease here? Ricky, you got grease?
Yeah, right there. On the bag.
Where is it?
Right there, the little bag right here.
Oh, this is beautiful, right?
His purse.
In my purse. It's my man purse.
Right, your purse.
What you smoking?
Weed.
Oh, yeah.
Chris, when you're in this good of a shape, does that affect your personal life too? You feel better as a person, or
What?
when you're in this good of a shape, does that affect your personal life? Like, do you feel better about yourself, or like, how does that?
More jealousy. Nah, you know, in all honesty, yeah, I do feel better. As far as I could take my shirt off, not really be that embarrassed, but not that I ever was body shamed or body beautiful, whatever. But at the end of the day, I just feel in better shape for boxing. That's the most important thing for me right now. Like I said, I'm not no bodybuilder, I'm none of that. I'm a boxer. So all that matters is that I look good in the boxing ring.
So what was the question? What was that last question? Does it what? Does it make you
Feel different.
Like
being in great shape?
his personal life, does he feel like better as a person, like happier, like that?
Or maybe meaner?
How do you see him, Joe?
I always feel good. I have no reason to feel any other way. But of course I always feel better when I know my guy's working hard. You know? And that's why I feel fantastic right now. I'm very confident and I'm very calm. Because Chris has been doing what he's supposed to be doing. Yeah. That's all you can ask
Keep
for.
going. Don't stop.
When do we start training, Chris?
Like January, December.
So what, the beginning of, wasn't it for first week in January?
You guys have been training since January?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So May 1st is now the date, obviously, but was there a possibility of this fight happening before then?
Yes.
Is that why? Because typically training camps are what, 8 to 10 weeks at the max?
Yeah, I kept getting like, I heard it was gonna be like March 24th
Okay.
at one point, then it was like April 20 something, then back to
April
May
20th.
Yeah, back to May 1st.
So yeah, it goes back as far as March that we were thinking we might be fighting.
So in terms of making sure that he doesn't peak too early, Joe, like what have you been able to do, or have you been tapering things off, or is it, I mean, what's the whole, you know?
Not really, because we've been consistent, you know. You get used to doing a certain amount of rounds. Of course, we didn't start out doing our full-fledged workouts. We worked our way into it. But once we got there, we've maintained that. And it hasn't been so taxing as that I felt, oh, we better pull back. It's getting in too good a shape. You know? And nobody's gotten worn out. You haven't gotten worn out from this. It's been fun, actually. And it's kind of what fighters do. They're supposed to be in the gym training. You know, certain weeks, do you maybe do something different? Do you shake it up and maybe do different stations in the gym that aren't as taxing as other ones? Yeah, but you're still getting in the round.
So you want him to stay sharp, but with the exception of like not putting him through that physical grind that is a training camp, you know, all the time.
Look, I mean, every day should be a worthy workout. You should get a worthy workout. But other days, when it includes sparring and maybe more heavy bags, and it does double end and speed bag and rope and weave bag, those are easier drills. They're less taxing on the body, but it still work. It still takes energy and it still takes conditioning.
The one thing that I've heard about fighters who talking about when they come into this gym is that they thought when they come into this gym, they thought that they were working hard before, but after being in here, they're like, I was not now I understand what hard work is in the boxing gym.
Yeah, I think most trainers, and probably goes for our opponent's camp too, because I believe they put in an honest day's work as well. What happens is you have X amount of experience, and you start noticing, hey, what's really, if you got two guys that are of the same talent, what separates them in a fight? If they both have the same qualities, let's say they're a clone of each other, which one wins the fight?
Yeah.
Who wins the fight if they're a clone of each other? The one in better shape. And so that's, I think, the underlying, thought process here is, yeah, we've got talent, he's got talent, but we got to be in better shape, ultimately, than anybody else we get in there with. And we kind of strive for that. And I believe there are plenty of other trainers that do the same thing. They understand that concept.
So it's about pushing the pace then.
Pardon?
It's about pushing the pace, being able to push the pace the entire time.
It's about no matter what resistance you're going to meet in the ring, you're going to be able to deal with it, and then even have that nice spurt at the end. The last 3-4 rounds where they expect you to slow down, but you're actually picking up a little steam.
So because he hasn't been in the ring since August of 2019, because it's been a longer training camp, do you think then that this quote-unquote ring rust won't be a thing because of how extensive the training camp has been?
Well, I think it certainly mitigates things, yeah. Look, everyone's kind of been out of the ring for a while. They're not alone.
Yeah, obviously.
So, but these guys, they're veterans. They've been around a long time, especially Chris, and they know what it is. They know how to turn on the switch when it comes to fighting.
And this isn't my first long layout.
Yeah, you've been through this.
I've been through 2-3 long layouts. So I know how to get back into it. At the end of the day, I fight to fight. I'm getting in there and I'm gonna fight. It's the same shit.
How do you know in training camp though, when you're going through a training camp, you're like, all right, my timing is back, or my rhythm, or I mean, do you know? Is there a specific point in camp where you're like, now things are clicking for me, or does it just all depend on when you get in the ring?
It all depends on the sparring. It always depends on the sparring. That's where you really know where your timing is at. Mid-work, that's another one, but at the end, it's all in sparring. Sparring is where you really gauge your timing and gauge where you're at in your training camp.
Let's go back to the Kovnatsky fight. That fight was bananas. I mean, you guys set records, about 6 or 7 records. How did you keep up that pace? In the 12th round, you guys threw 210 punches. I mean, that's 110 punches or 105 punches between both of you each. So how did you keep up that pace?
Right here, because I did everything I had to do at the gym. I worked my ass off in the gym every fucking day. And that's how I was able to go. Honestly, if you would have told me I had 3 more rounds, I could have probably gave you 3 more rounds too.
So you could have gone 15.
I could have gone 15 rounds, no
man.
problem. I said it once and I'll say it again. The fight's always won in the gym, and we put all the work in here. We worked our asses off to put in that performance, and to win the fight. I personally felt like I won that fight. The worst I gave myself is a draw. And that being said, it was a fun fight. For me, it was a fun fight. I was smiling, I was taking punches, and I was giving punches as much as I was taking them.
I almost feel like certain guys, I mentioned this with Joe last night about a fighter, that there's a terminology, a zest for combat. I feel like you love when you're, eating shots and you're delivering it, like you love to fight. Like you were born, you were put on this earth to be a fighter. Is that fair to say?
That's very fair to say. I love what I do. I'm a fortunate person to have been a fighter since a young age. I'm fortunate that my dad gave a fuck about me to be in the gym with me. I'm very fortunate for that. And I bleed boxing. I put myself out there every time I box, every time I fight. Even if I'm not in the best shape, I know I owe it to the fans to give them a great fight, to take an ass beating even if I have to. You know what I mean? I'll take that ass beating because I deserved it, because I didn't put forth the effort.
So one thing about you is how honest you are. I remember watching your fight against Klitschko back in 2009 at Staples Center. It was a crazy crowd, and you were just so honest and authentic after the fight. why is that? I mean, because you're just so matter of fact in the lead up to a fight and then after a fight, which I don't know of many guys that would be as brutally honest as you are.
You know what? I always said, it's better to be honest than just to tell a white lie. Because shoot, people respect you more when you're honest. A la Charles Barkley, there's a lot of people that, like, he gets in trouble, he's gonna tell you how it is. He ain't gonna sugarcoat it.
No.
And you know what? That's how I feel. My dad always told me, be honest with yourself and be honest with everybody else. They'll respect you a lot more for that. And that's one thing that I take with me, Just own up to it. Own up your shit. Own up your mistakes. It's okay to say I'm sorry. It's okay to say I messed up. The thing is not okay with me is someone that just comes up with excuses that ain't valid.
Well, you've had not a lot of trainers, you've had several trainers, obviously working with the legend Joe Goosen. How much have you improved, even at this stage of your career, as you're now 40 years of age, but how much have you learned and grown and improved?
In all honesty, a lot of defensively I've grown a lot with Joe. Keep my hands up, countering and stuff like that. That's probably the biggest thing I think out of working with Joe. Another thing is that he's not reinventing the wheel, but he's just making sure that the wheel is round. Because motherfuckers, like a trainer be like, yeah, do this. Then he's gonna go work over here, then go work over there, not even paying attention to what the hell you're doing. So Joe's just there, watching. Pick your hand up. So it's a big difference, believe it or not. Because you give me a round, I'll fuck around. I know how to fuck around. Like seriously.
We'll let you get to your workout.
There's Chris being brutally honest again.
I mean, hey, you gotta love that. I mean, he's authentic and he's who he is. Chris Arreola. I mean, what you see is what you get.
We saw last night in a couple of those fights, that one Resendez fight where it was a brawl, it was a rough fight, they were at each other's throat, but yet, at the end of the round, they were smiling at each other.
Yeah, after the fight, they hug each other.
It's like they enjoy it, and we would be going, hell.
I know, exactly.
A little morbid. We are a little morbid.